Hello, and welcome to your next lesson. In the last video, we discussed formatting charts. This video will discuss changing your chart data, and adding a secondary axis. Please open the Visual Data worksheet and go to the Format tab to follow along in this lesson. Okay, so here we are on our spreadsheet, and today we're going to be working from the Format tab, which we created in our last video. Now, if you've jumped ahead of the lesson and you do not have this chart already created, go ahead to Format tab number 2, and there you will find the same chart. Okay, so for our first exercise, we're going to look at other chart options. So let's begin by selecting the chart. So as you can see, when you select the chart design tab appears at the top. Let's go ahead and select the tab. So let's look at the group of icons. You have data, you have type, and you also have location. I want to go to the type group, and let's go ahead and select change chart type. The change chart type opens up, and now we can take a look at some of our other options. Let's go ahead and select the line chart, and let's go ahead and hover over it to get a closer look. Okay, let's do the same with the pie chart. So you can hover through each of these charts, and then you can go ahead and get a closer look by selecting it. Let's select the bar chart, and let's go ahead and hover over it to get a closer look. Let's do the same with the scatter chart. Okay, so I'm not going to select anything at this time. I just want you to go ahead and take a look and see how this is done. So now that we have done that, let's go ahead and click cancel and move on to our next exercise. So the chart that we are working on is pulling from the Basics tab, and it's pulling from the online sales and brick and mortar. What I would like to do is to go ahead and change the data type. So let's go ahead and select our chart. We should be on the chart design tab. Now let's go ahead and say select data. Okay, so what we want to do first is go ahead and deselect online sales and brick and mortar. Next, let's go ahead and say add. I'm going to select the series name arrow, and I'm going to head over to my Basics tab. Now let's go ahead and select total spend. Okay, next I'm going to go ahead and click the down arrow, and as you can see, now it's asking for the series value. Let's go ahead and click the up arrow. Let's go ahead and select cell D3 and drag it all the way down to D14. Let's go ahead and click the down arrow again and say OK. So this establishes our first column. Now let's go ahead and add a second one. Let's say add. Let's go ahead and select the up arrow for the series name. I want to head to the Basics tab, and this time I'm going to go ahead and select average transaction. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and click my down arrow, and again it's asking for the series value. I'm going to go ahead and select my down arrow, and then I'm going to go ahead and grab my values. I'm going to select cell F3, and I'm going to drag it all the way down to F14. Okay, let's click OK, and let's take a look at our chart. So as we look at our chart, you only see the visualization for the total spent. The average transaction is not showing up because the amount that is spent on the average is lesser than the total minimum. So what we need to do in this case is go ahead and add a secondary axis to capture the average transaction. So let's go ahead and select our chart. I want to go back up to chart design. I want to go ahead and change chart type. Now in this case, let's go ahead to the bottom and let's select combo. Now what we need to do in this case is to add a secondary axis. So for the average transaction, Let's go ahead and add a line chart. Let's go ahead and select secondary axis. Now let's go ahead and say OK. So now my chart is capturing the total spend as well as the average transactions. I would like to make a few formatting adjustments and then we'll go ahead and wrap up the lesson. Okay, so let's go ahead and grab our chart to make our three icons appear on the side. Okay, next I would like to look at this brush icon. Let's go ahead and select it. So this gives you access to pre-made layouts as well as color options. So let's go ahead and select color. Let's just scroll through a few and find something that captures our eye. I am going to go with the green series. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and select that. Next, I would like to go ahead and add labels to my average transaction. Let's go ahead and select the graph. Again, our three icons will appear. Let's select the plus sign and let's go ahead and say data labels. So now I have added labels to my secondary axis and I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the lesson from here. Thanks for joining and I'll see you in the next video. Congrats! You have completed another video. I am very proud of you and the progress that you are making. You are doing a great job and I look forward to seeing you in our next level up lesson video.